Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Eric. I have a list of questions I'd love to ask you about your business and how you've adapted. So how have you been so far?
Well, it's slow. I'm a massage therapist, so it ground to a halt completely.
Yeah.
All money that I was making, but I found some ways to make some money and have a presence online. hmm
Awesome. So backing up, can you give us your full name and what you do, the name of your business, so forth?
Sure. My name is Eric Fair-Layman. I'm a licensed massage therapist in Oregon, and I work out of I have two offices, one out of Common Ground and another in Hillsdale, in Portland. And
Wonderful.
yeah, and so I use my feet to walk on people.
Nice.
hmm And I don't do a lot of above the waist work.
Okay.
Above the belly work, I don't do a lot. I might walk on your arms, but I don't almost never touch people's backs. But I
Okay.
consider myself a specialist at helping people's backs. And I think that um, been developing a practice around trying to get at the root of most back problems through the core, through like things that control the pelvis and the spine.
Nice. Wonderful. Sounds like you really have a specialty there in helping.
I
That's
do.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what do you love most about your business or what
Um,
you do?
well, um, what do I love most about it? The most, I guess it's the way it feels like you make magic happen for people.
Mm,
And what they're always surprised, especially new people. But even people who have been there, they're always surprised that I can manipulate one part of the body and make a change in another part of the body so clearly. Because the system I was shown, you're fully clothed. So I have you stand and walk frequently. And so people can see I do one or two or three things. And then you stand up and you're like, whoa, how come that's different? You didn't touch anywhere near that thing.
wow, that's awesome. Sounds amazing. I do have a friend that has had massages and some work done by you, and he claims it's amazing. So
Oh,
maybe once we're out of all of this situation, we'll be able to become a client of yours as well.
awesome.
Yeah. What challenges are you facing right now? I know you mentioned earlier, and it's kind of obvious to a lot of us that you're not able to be in direct contact with people because of COVID-19. But what challenges has that created in for yourself?
Trying to convince people what I can do for them online. Like really, I feel like the challenge of a business is letting people know the message of what you have to offer and how to get that across.
Hmm.
So that's my biggest, I don't know how to make that clear what I can do online, which I think is actually a lot.
So tell me what you are doing online. I've been a participant, but I'd love to
Yeah,
hear from
totally.
you what you're doing online to kind of compensate and to help out during this time.
Yeah. And, I have a lot of tools. I only mentioned the first tool and then we got sidetracked. Um, One of the three primary tools I have is what I do with you every morning. I do breath work. So you can actually elevate your breath in a way that you immediately change your state and lower your stress, like immediately. It's a cool body hack. It's been discovered thousands of times, I'm sure, throughout history. And so that I'm doing you can just come on, you don't have to pay. Most people don't contribute. And
But
it's
you are taking
fine.
donations for that.
I just want people to come and hang out. But I have been able to been getting serious donations actually.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And it's sort of growing and shifting. Numbers, not necessarily pure numbers, but it's the number of people that show up on a regular basis is growing, and but not every. It's still holding steady every day, but it's like it's expanding. People come maybe slightly less often, but more and more people are becoming regulars. It's
Mm-hmm.
really neat. Um, So that's one thing. And then I do resistance stretching. And so actually I talked about walking on you, but the core of that other body work, aside from the breath, is these resistive stretches. It's really hard to explain. I honestly have not mastered telling people why those stretches are the most important part of all that I do. Because I think they're hard work and it's so different than normal stretching. Like the idea when people think of stretching, they think of pushing beyond their range of motion, but I kind of wish people would stop, but I know that it's so ingrained as so good for you that it's a hard conversation to have. But if you resist and you try to flex your muscle and we force it to lengthen under resistance, and you only go to the end of your range of motion, you don't push beyond, the next time you check, you will have a greater range of motion.
Wow.
And so it's much healthier. It's way safer. The permanence is so much more than what happens in yoga, like when you do those long stretches. And I always just like to say, like, yoga is amazing, but it actually wasn't designed to stretch people. It was designed for people who were more limber than us, who didn't sit in chairs and cars and over computers. It was meant to just move you into different positions to align you with spirit and breathe and meditate. It's not to stretch, but it's come to the West, and I celebrate that it's changed to match this group of people, because we need something different than the Indians needed. We really do. And I celebrate the super aggro, and people turn up their noses at sort of that more aggro, aerobic, heated yoga. I actually think that we need all that stuff, and that and we're doing all these stretches. I wish people would stretch differently, but I get it. We need more range of motion, and I totally understand why it's changed, because it wouldn't make sense for yoga to not change. But I wish that people would try a different way of stretching that also strengthens at the same time. And that's what I can do online. I've only had a couple people come to me online now for private sessions, but it's gone really well. If you work with me, I'll have you do a guided self stretch, and then I'll have you stand and walk, and you'll tell me what's different, and I'll tell you what to do next, and we'll figure it out. We'll get the pain down. I've done it so many times for other people in the room that I'm finding it's going to be pretty easy.
And that is something that you're offering online right now, is some private stretching sessions.
That's right.
Awesome. And how's that going for you? Are you seeing a big difference in people even
well, it's almost nothing right now. I think everyone's sort of holding it. It's like nothing anyone's ever heard of, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And B, like private stretch sessions is just such a thing that's not even really out there. And so it's been really slow, honestly. But the few that I've done have gone very well, like I was hoping, or better than I hoped.
Great.
Now I'm not sure, I have to admit, I'm not sure how to get that message out there, but I know I can. Okay. I think as people get more settled into this pandemic quarantine, that they'll start reaching out more. I'm getting more inquiries.
Nice. Well, I've been a part of your breath work group, and it's been amazing. One thing I've noticed just in the last couple of days, I was like, I'm smiling so much more, like in the past week or so. And it's just, I'm doing a lot of other personal development and so forth, but I really contributed a lot of that to your breath work and just being more relaxed and releasing some stress. And I've just noticed my amount of smiles throughout the day has doubled. So thank you very much for being a part of that. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the place to ask what other things you're doing, but I'd be curious.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm doing some books and so forth that I'd love to share with you. So yeah, absolutely. But the breath work has been a big part of it. It's how we wake up and start the day every morning, and it's really been great for focus and just overall joy. So thank you.
Joy. Very much. That's cool.
Yeah. So you're doing some online stuff during this time. Is there anything else that you can offer people during this time? Any specials or services, online stretching?
So there's the group courses every morning, or the stretching is Monday through Friday, and the breathing is all days. Private sessions, I can't think of anything else. I run a men's group that's gone really well, and so we've decided, we had capped the group, but we've gotten a lot of inquiries about reproducing it. So any man anybody who was born a man and is still choosing man, we'd love to have you in our group. So anyone who knows what it's like to have have a lifetime of all the things lumped onto being a guy, which
Mm-hmm.
yet we have the power, but we also comes with its own issues. And
Yeah.
so I mean, you know, we're not victims of our manhood, but dealing with those issues that we have that's unique to us. And we are inviting people to come, and we'll offer to help you, give you a how-to, and have you join a few groups so that we can sprout up maybe brother groups, sister groups.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds marvelous.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And so your private sessions that you're doing is primarily in breath work and stretching at this point.
that's right.
Okay.
Teaching you to stretch yourself. Hmm.
Okay. Great. Great. And if you had one piece of advice to give anybody who's struggling right now, what would that advice be?
Um, well, I think it depends on where you are. I think if you're really feeling like you're spiraling downwards, and you really are, like you really are in a scarcity place, like not like you're middle class and you don't get to keep a really large home anymore and have 3 cars, or, you know, but like if you really are in a place and you're struggling with alcohol or some kind of, you know, something's ramped up in this time, I would say reach out for help.
Okay.
But if you're like a lot of the people in my circles where we feel our little bubble is burst, but it's not truly a real problem, except maybe others might be eyeing what we have. And I don't, you know, there's different ways to use words like wealth and riches, but if you're in that, I would say be in service. Seems like when you offer something, I didn't mean to, but I offered this class, and I've had a ton of people reaching out to me
Mm-hmm.
to make a difference for me. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that would happen, but I've had so many people um, reach out in so many little ways. It's amazing. I was freaking out a little at first, but I'm feeling contained, and I don't feel lonely.
Yeah.
I partially have my kids, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you were one of the first people that really that I noticed was taking business online or making a difference. It was really inspirational for me. Actually, that's
Oh,
part of us doing these videos is really wanting to give back and reach out and stay connected with people. So thank you so much for that
oh,
inspiration. I really appreciate it.
oh, thank you so
You
much.
bet. Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to say before we end the interview?
No, they can, I'm sure there'll be some links in the notes to this thing. That'll be the only thing.
Absolutely. Make some
Just
links.
and oh, I don't mind like questions about health if you don't know what's going on for you, and everything's by donation right now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thanks
Well,
so much.
thank you, Eric.